we saw that the Lord says that you are the original Rishi. And because your mind is always fixed on me, even though you will be engaged in generating various progeny, the vicious mode of passion will never encroach upon you. Both there is protection and there is empowerment. Yeah, we discussed to the extent we are performing service as per direction, we are receiving protection. 36 verse. ज्ञाताहं भवतो त्वाम् अद्य दुर्विघ्नेयो अपि देहिना यन्मां त्वां मन्यसे अयुक्तं भूतेन्द्रिय गुणात्मभिः. Although I am not easily knowable by the conditioned soul, you have known me today because you know that my personality is not constituted of anything material and specifically not of the 5 gross and 3 subtle elements. So here we see the Lord is appreciating the understanding and the knowledge aspect. There is knowledge about the supreme truth. Knowledge of the supreme absolute truth does not necessitate negation of the material manifestation, but understanding of spiritual existence as it is. To think that because material existence is realized in forms, therefore spiritual existence must be formless, is only a negative material conception of spirit. So this is what the Gyanis or the impersonalists in particular, they have this conclusion that the matter exists in the form. Therefore, spiritual existence must be formless. Prabhupada says this is only a negative material conception of spirit. The real spiritual conception is the spiritual form, is not material form. Brahma appreciated the eternal form of the Lord in that way, and the personality of Godhead approved of Brahma's spiritual conception. What is the prayer from Brahma Samhita, where Brahma appreciates the eternal form of the Lord? Very famous. Very famous Brahma Samhita's prayers. Brahma appreciated the eternal form of the Lord in that way. The real spiritual conception is the spiritual form is not material. All of you know this prayer?
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yam Sam Sundaram Achintya Guna
Swarupam. Yam Sham Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupam. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamham Bhajan. Premanjana Churit Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadev Hrideshu Vilokayanti Yam Sham Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupam. He is Achintya and he has Swarupam, which is not of this matter. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamham Bhajan. What happened, Ramya? Dayashil Prabhu is not there. हाँ या रजिस्ट्रेशन करना है? ओके. कल नहीं जा पाए थे क्या? कल नहीं गए थे? यस्टरडे संडे. ओके, ठीक है, तपस्या करनी पड़ेगी. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna condemns the material conception of his body, a conception that arises because he is apparently present like a man. बताओ ये verse बताओ. Pradeep, what is this verse? In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna condemns the material conception of his body, a conception that arises because he is apparently present like a man. What is this verse from Bhagavad Gita? Pradeep, I'm asking you. Please reply.
Not able to remember.
Very poor. Purushottam? भगवत गीता तो बेसिक आना चाहिए, रोज पढ़ा करो कम से कम एटलीस्ट 2-3 वर्सेस एवरी डे यू शुड स्टडी. If you don't study, then you will not be able to connect. Ryanshi, you know the verse?
I don't know the full verse.
Okay, whatever you know, you recite.
अभिजानन्ति मामूढा मानुषीं तनुम् आश्रिता.
Fine, this is it. This is the verse. Avajananti mamudha manushim tanum ashrita. Why? Because they do not know the param bhavam ajarantam. They do not know my superior nature, my spiritual nature. Mama bhut adim ishwaram. You see, such a small child can remember. Why we cannot remember? Because we are absorbed in some other places. Our mind is absorbed in other areas. The Lord may appear in any of his many spiritual forms, but he is not materially composed, nor is there any difference between his body and the self. This is another verse from the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. That there is, nor is there any difference between his body and the self. That is the way of conceiving the spiritual form of the Lord. Tubhyam vichikitsayam आत्मे में दर्शितो अभी न लेना सलिले मूलम पुष्करस्य विचिन्वता. When you were contemplating whether there was a source to the stem of the lotus of your birth, and you even entered into that stem, you could not trace out anything. But at that time, I manifested my form from within. The personality of Godhead can be experienced only by his causeless mercy, not by mental speculation or with the help of material senses. Material senses cannot approach the transcendental understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He can be appreciated only by submissive devotional service when he reveals himself before the devotee. So many verses that material senses cannot approach the transcendental understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is this verse? Material senses cannot approach the transcendental understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes, Ravindra Prabhu.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी.
Yes, Priyanka.
प्रभु जी, अतः श्री कृष्ण नामादि न भवेत् ग्राह्यम् इंद्रिया सेवान्मुखी जीवादौ
Swayameva spurati
स्वयमेव
yada.
स्फुरति.
Very good. He can only be appreciated by submissive devotional service when he reveals himself before the devotee. Only by love of Godhead can one know God and not otherwise. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena. The personality of Godhead cannot be seen with the material eyes, but he can be seized from within by spiritual eyes opened by the ointment of love of Godhead. Premanjana, ointment of love. Eyes opened by the ointment of love. As long as one's spiritual eyes are closed due to the dirty covering of matter, one cannot see the Lord. But when the dirt is removed by the process of devotional service, one can see the Lord without a doubt. Brahma's personal endeavor to see the root of the lotus pipe failed. But when the Lord was satisfied by his penance and devotion, The Lord revealed himself from within with no external endeavor. We saw when Brahma was born, he was trying to find out the moolam, from where he is coming. There is a huge length of the stem which is coming out from the navel of the Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And on top of that stem is the lotus on which Brahma was seated. So he could not find anything. That is what the Lord is saying. When you were contemplating whether there is a source to the stem of the lotus of your birth, and you even entered into the stem, you could not trace out anything. But the Lord appeared out of his causeless mercy, seeing the endeavor of Brahma. Yat chakrartha mat strotram mat katha abhyudaya ankitam yadva tapasi te nishtha saisha mad anugraha. O Brahma, the praise that you have chanted, praising the glories of my transcendental activities, the penances you have undertaken to understand me, and your firm faith in me, all these are to be considered my causeless mercy. When a living entity desires to serve the Lord in transcendental loving service, the Lord helps the devotee in so many ways as the Chaitya Guru or the spiritual master within. And thus the devotee can perform many wonderful activities beyond material estimation. By the mercy of the Lord, even a layman can compose prayers of the highest spiritual perfection. Such spiritual perfection is not limited by material qualification, but is developed by dint of one's sincere endeavor to render transcendental service. Voluntary endeavor is the only qualification for spiritual perfection. Very, very important statement. Voluntary endeavor is the only qualification for spiritual existence. Swacheshita. How much we are making an endeavor, how much we are making effort. To the extent we are making an effort, to that extent we are progressing in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada is saying here very clearly, voluntary endeavor is the only qualification for spiritual perfection. Material acquisition of wealth or education are not considered. Prito ahamastu, this is very beautiful verse. Prito ahamastu bhadram te lokanam vijayikshaya yad astu ashi gunamayam nirgunam ma anuvarnayam nirgunam ma anuvarnayam. I am very much pleased by your descriptions of me in terms of my transcendental qualities. See, the Lord is expressing his heart. I am very much pleased by your description of me in terms of my transcendental qualities, which appear mundane to the mundaners. I grant you all benedictions in your desires. To glorify all the planets by your activities. What a blessing Brahmaji is receiving. I grant you all benediction. Unqualified, no limit. I grant you all benediction. In your desire to glorify all the planets by your activities. I remember long back, that was the day of Bhakti Vinod Thakur disappearance. And Maharaj was there. He was about to worship Thakur Bhakti Vinod. And one devotee was there with Maharaj when he was submitting some service. And Maharaj said that you have all of my blessings. You have all of my blessings. Profuse. full blessings, no limit. Here Brahmaji is receiving, he has so much satisfied the Lord. But the Lord is saying that you have all benedictions. I grant you all benedictions in your all desires. A pure devotee of the Lord like Brahma and those in his line of disciplic succession always desire that the Lord be known all over the universe by each and every one of the living entities. This is what compassion is. Pure devotee like Brahma and in his line of disciplic succession always desire. This is the only desire, that the Lord be known all over the universe by each and every one of the living entities. That desire of the devotee is always blessed by the Lord. The impersonalists sometimes pray for the mercy of the personality of Godhead Narayan as the embodiment of material goodness. But such prayers do not satisfy the Lord because he is not thereby glorified in terms of his actual transcendental qualities. The pure devotees of the Lord are always most dear to him. Although he is always kind and merciful to all living entities. Here the word Gunamayam is significant because it indicates the Lord's possessing transcendental qualities. Ya etena puman nityam stutva shotrena mam bhaje tasyasu samprasideyam sarvakama vareshwara. The Lord's name is Sarvakama Vareshwara. He is Sarvakam Vara Ishvara. Any human being who prays like Brahma. Who is speaking this verse? Any human being who prays like Brahma and who thus worships me shall very soon be blessed with the fulfillment of all his desires. For I am the Lord of all benedictions. Supreme Lord. Sarvakama Vara Ishvara. Ya Puman Nityam Stutva Shotrena Mam Bhajeta Tasyasu Samprasidayam. Samprasidayam. I shall fulfill. And how he shall fulfill? Asu. Very soon. What he will fulfill? Sarvakarma. All his desires. For I am the Lord of all benedictions. That is Varadaraj. Here it is said, Vara Ishvara. The prayers offered by Brahma cannot be chanted by anyone who desires to fulfill his own sense gratification. Such prayers can be selected only by a person who wants to satisfy the Lord by serving him. The Lord certainly fulfills all desires in regard to transcendental loving service. But he does not fulfill the whims of non-devotees, even when such casual devotees offer him the best of prayers. He fulfills, the important point is that the Lord fulfills all desires in regard to transcendental loving service. But he does not fulfill the whims of non-devotees, even when such casual devotees offer him best of prayers. Purtena tapasa yagne dhaner yoga samadhina radham nishreyasam pumsa matpriti tattva vinmata matpriti tatvid matam. It is the opinion of expert transcendentalists that the ultimate goal of performing all traditional good works, penance, sacrifice, charity, mystic activities, meditation, trance, etc., is to invoke my satisfaction. What was the verse in the 9th chapter we discussed yesterday? in all these activities. The ultimate goal of performing all traditional good work, penance, sacrifice, charity, mystic activities, meditation in trance, is to invoke my satisfaction. What was the verse? 9th chapter. Yesterday we discussed. You all attended the 9th chapter, no? It was so satisfying. After so many days or months, we got the opportunity to again study the 9th chapter. Yes, Riyanshi, what is the verse?
Guruji, yat karoshi yat ashnashi.
Very good, very good, excellent. This is see, anyone who is trying to perform sincere service, Krishna gives the intelligence again and again. He's speaking. He's speaking in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He's speaking here profusely. He's saying that you have my full benedictions. Yat karoshi, yat ashnashi, yat juhusi, dadasi yat, yat tapasya sikonteya, purusva madarpanam. Purusva madarpanam has two aspects. One, it is performed for the pleasure of the Lord. The only purpose of performing the activity is the pleasure and the satisfaction of the Lord. It is not done for one's own pleasure or satisfaction. This is what the Lord is saying, that unless and until one is pure in his desire to please the Lord, he cannot come in parampara and receive this blessing. Very good. Excellent. There are many traditionally pious activities in human society, such as altruism, philanthropy, nationalism, internationalism, charity, sacrifice, penance, and even meditation in trance. And all of them can be fully beneficial only when they lead to the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of God. Purusva Madarpanam. The perfection of any activity, social, political, religious, or philanthropic, is to satisfy the Supreme Lord. What is the other verse? That the perfection of any activity is to satisfy the Supreme Lord. Very famous verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Initially, we have read this verse. What is this verse? Yes, Dayashil bro.
प्रभुजी संसिद्धि हरितोषण.
Very good. Samsiddhi Haritosha. The perfection, Samsiddhi is Haritosha. For the satisfaction or the pleasure of the Lord. This secret of success is known to the devotee of the Lord. Prabhupada is saying this is a secret of success. And those who are actually devotees, they know this. Others, they will never accept it. As exemplified by Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, as a good non-violent man, Arjuna did not want to fight with his kinsmen. But when he understood that Krishna wanted to fight and had arranged it at Kurukshetra, he gave up his own satisfaction and fought for the satisfaction of the Lord. That is the right decision for all intelligent men. One's only concern should be to satisfy the Lord by one's activities. If the Lord is satisfied by an action, whatever it may be, then it is successful. Otherwise, it is simply waste of time. Shram evahi kevalam. That is the standard of all sacrifice, penance, austerity, mystic, trance, and other good and pious work. We'll complete this chapter today. Just couple of verses more. Aham atma atmanam dhata preshta san preyasam api ato mai ratin kuryat dehaderyat krite priya. Aham atma atmanam dhata. I am the super soul of every individual soul, supreme director and the dearest of the dear. People are wrongly attached to the gross and subtle bodies, but they should be attached to me. See how the supreme knowledge is revealing the most important knowledge. The Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, is the dearest of the dear for both the conditioned and the liberated soul. How he claims, how the Lord can himself claim that he is the dearest of the dear, and he is saying in both conditions, whether one is liberated or whether one is in condition. How he is the dearest of the dear for both. Of course, we can accept that he is the dearest of the dear for one who is liberated, because he has the transcendental vision, he can see. But what about conditioned soul? How he is the dearest for the conditioned soul? How? What is the criteria? What is the basis? We won't be able to compute. There is a discussion, yeah. It is actually everything is controlled by the Lord. We will run out of time. There is some discussion here. How he is the dearest of the dear even for the conditioned soul, who has no spiritual understanding or vision? नहीं है क्या? है या नहीं है? है तो how is the dearest of the dear? No, this philosophy should be clear. You reply, Ravindra Prabhu? How the Lord is claiming? जल्दी बोलो, 9:15 बज रहा है या नहीं? आपकी क्या कन्विक्शन है?
Yes, Prabhuji, many verses we see that he wants to take all the jivas to his abode.
कंडीशन सोल भी चले जाते हैं क्या? ले जाते हैं क्या?
He gives the opportunity to purify
So,
themselves.
on what basis he is saying he is the dearest of the dear? Not only for the liberated, but also for the conditioned soul. बोलो बोलो, तथ्य बताओ. Give us some reasons. Shastra, you have to show some examples, some reference. On what basis? बताओ, इतना बेसिक चीज नहीं समझ में आ रहा है। बोलो दयाशील ब्रो।
Hare
अनम्यूट
Krishna,
करके बोलो।
Prabhuji, come to this material world because of our independent mentality and trying to enjoy separately from Lord Krishna. But even after coming to the material world, Lord doesn't leave us. He provides all the necessity of life, and also He gives Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, devotees, many other opportunities, so that we can again regain our lost relationship and we can come back to Him. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you for that.
Okay, this is good. This is there, but there is something which is even very more convincing, very clear, very convincing. That how is the dearest most of the dear of the conditioned soul? हाँ, बोलो पुरुषोत्तम, तुम लोग बोलो यार। कमाल है, इतने सालों से सुन रहे हो, ये सब कैसे क्लियर नहीं है? तभी तो होता है, कोई भौतिक आदमी आएगा या औरत आएगी, वो आपको काट के ले जाएगी। क्यों? क्योंकि कुछ समझ में आया ही नहीं कि डियर कौन है। वो डियर आएगा, DEER, बेवकूफ बनाएगा और जीवन का जितना किया गया है सबको पानी कर देगा। हाउ इज द डियर मोस्ट? यस, बोलो रम्या। आपका म्यूट है, म्यूट में आवाज थोड़ी आएगा। हरे कृष्ण।
Prabhuji, Prabhuji, in 15th chapter, Lord Krishna mentioned that he is the digestive enzyme to digest our. He
अरे
he is providing us basic. So
वो तो सबको दे ही रहे हैं ना, वो तो है ही। हाउ इज द डियर मोस्ट ऑफ ऑल of even the conditioned soul? How?
in whatever journey we may be, he is living. He is not actually living us. He is present with us in the form of God.
Yeah, this is the point. This is the point. He never ever leaves us. He is always there in our heart to guide us, to illuminate us, to revive our lost relationship with Him. Life after life, birth after birth, species after species, planet after planet. ईश्वर सर्वभूतानां हृदय देशे अर्जुना तिष्ठति। ये क्लियर नहीं है आप लोगों को? हाँ, इसीलिए कोई और, हाँ, जो अप्रिय है वो प्रिय बन जाता है। There are degrees of knowing one's relationship with the Lord. Very beautiful purpose. There are degrees of one knowing one relationship with the Lord, depending on the degree of realization as to why the Supreme Lord is the dearmost object of all living beings. It will depend on our advancement in Krishna consciousness. The real reason is clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita 15:7. Mame vamsho jivaloke jivabhuta sanatana. The living entities are eternally parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord. The living entity is called the Atma and the Lord is called the Paramatma. The living entity is called Brahman and the Lord is called the Para-Brahman or Parmeshwara, Ishvara Parama Krishna. The conditioned souls who do not have self-realization accept the material body as the dearmost. The idea of the dearmost is then spread all over the body, both concentrated and extended. The attachment for one's own body and its extensions like children and relatives is actually developed on the basis of real living entity. Even the body of the most dear son is no longer attractive as soon as the real living entity is out of the body. Therefore, the living spark or eternal part of the Supreme is the real basis of affection and not the body. Prabhupada is giving this such a strong argument, logic. Because the living entities are also part of the whole living entity, that supreme living entity is the factual basis of affection for all. One who has forgotten the basic principle of his love for everything has only flickering love because he is in Maya. One who has forgotten the basic principle of this love for everything, living entity, okay, has only flickering love because he is in Maya. The more one is affected by the principles of Maya, the more he is detached from the basic principle of love. One cannot factually love anything unless he is fully developed in the loving service of the love. In the present verse, stress is given on focusing love upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The word kuriyat is significant here. This means one must have it. This word is used just to stress that we must have more and more attachment to the principle of love for the Lord. The influence of Maya is experienced by the part and parcel spiritual entity, but it cannot influence the super soul, the Paramatma. The Mayavadi philosophers, accepting the influence of Maya on the living entity, want to become one with the Paramatma. But because they have no actual love for the Paramatma, they remain even trapped by the influence of Maya and are unable to approach the vicinity of the Paramatma. This inability is due to their lack of affection for the Paramatma. A rich miser does not know how to utilize his wealth, and therefore, in spite of his being very rich, his miserly behavior keeps him everlastingly a poor man. On the other hand, a person who knows how to utilize wealth can quickly become a rich man, even with a small credit balance. The eyes and the sun are very intimately related because without sunlight, the eyes are unable to see. But the other part of the body being attached to the sun as the source of warmth take more advantages of the sun than do the eyes without possessing affection for the sun. The eyes cannot bear the rays of the sun. Or in other words, such eyes have no capacity to understand the utility of the sun's rays. Similarly, the empiric philosophers, despite their theoretical knowledge of Brahman, cannot utilize the mercy of the Supreme Brahman because they lack affection for him. So many impersonal philosophers remain everlastingly under the influence of Maya because although they indulge in theoretical knowledge of Brahman, they do not develop affection for Brahman, nor do they have any scope for development of such affection because of their defective method. A devotee of the sun god, even though devoid of eyesight, can see the sun god as he is, even from this planet. Whereas one who is not a devotee of the sun cannot even bear the glaring sunlight. Similarly, by devotional service, even though one is not on the level of a jnani, one can see the personality of Godhead within oneself due to one's development of pure love. This is the purpose of practice of Krishna consciousness. In all circumstances, one should try to develop love of Godhead, and that will solve all contending problems. Couple of verses left. It is very less. I'll finish it. Nothing, hardly anything. Two more verses. Sarva Veda Mayena idam Atmanam Atmana Yonina Prajasriji Yatha Purvam Yaschamai Anushret. By following my instructions, you can now generate the living entities as before. This is the final empowerment by the Supreme Lord. By dint of your complete Vedic wisdom and the body you have directly received from me, the supreme cause of everything. Last verse. Maitri Vacha Tasma Evam Jagat Shastre Pradhana Purveshwara Vyajedam Sarvarupena Kanchanaabhastirodhade. The sage Maitreya said, after instructing Brahma, the creator of the universe, to expand the creation, the primeval Lord, the personality of Godhead in his personal form as Narayan, disappeared. Before his activity in creating the universe, Brahma saw the Lord. That is the explanation of the Chatur Shloki Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam 2:9:33 till 36. When the creation awaited Brahma's activity, Brahma saw the Lord, and therefore the Lord existed in his personal form. Before the creation, his eternal form is not created by the attempt of Brahma, as imagined by the less intelligent man. The personality of Godhead appeared as he is before Brahma, and the Lord disappeared from Brahma's vision in the same form, which is not materially changed. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport to the third canto, 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Brahma's Prayer for Creative Energy. Om Tat Saditi. Hare Krishna. Okay, I am not taking questions. It is already late. So we will continue tomorrow with the next chapter. Brahmaji's action will begin. Division of the creation. He has been empowered, fully empowered, profusely empowered by the Supreme Lord. So we will see with this empowerment what Brahma does next. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Prema.